Today we're talking about time management and how to effectively organize your life in order to be productive. I'm Alice Thorpe and I'm a graphic designer and YouTuber, and I like to share my creativity with you guys. So I've been asked a lot, how do you manage your time? I'm self-employed, I work from home, and it can be tricky trying to figure out how to get motivated, especially when your bedroom's down the hallway, you could stay in your pajamas, and I totally understand that. But I have some little tips and tricks that I follow to ensure that I stay my most productive and also allow myself the time to relax and take time off, because that's also just as important. First up, you need to set yourself a schedule and actually stick to it. Now, if you're anything like me, I actively avoided a 9-to-5 job. I hate it when people tell me what to do. I like to be in control. And I originally thought, because I get to choose my own hours, I can work whenever, whatever, I can be productive. However, I've found recently, if I schedule myself set times on set days to do certain things, I'm actually more productive. Whereas if I usually think, oh, I can just do that design work today, I'll spend 3, 4, 5 hours doing it. Whereas if I set myself a little 2-hour gap in my calendar, then in theory, I'll get it done in those 2 hours. So some things that I do to schedule my time, I live for my Google Calendar. So in there I have a bunch of different things. I have my partner's rota, so I can see what shifts he's on, and I sort of plan my time around that. I also have any set things that I have to do every week: emails, admin, recording videos. I have my upload schedule on there, and then every Monday I go into my calendar and I time block out what I want to do. For example, this week I need to film videos, so that takes at least 2 days to film. So I'm going to instantly block out Wednesday and Thursday. I choose these days because I know I'm the most productive in the middle of the week when I've had a chance to sort of get over the Monday blues. On a Monday, I tend to do things that involve me not putting makeup on, and that is admin, design tasks, planning videos, anything like that. I will block that into Monday. The same applies for every day of the week, and try and optimize this time blocking to suit your level of productivity. So if you're more awake and raring to go in the afternoon, set the most intensive tasks around that time, and then you can fully pay attention to those. Personally, I set admin and the boring things first to get them out of the way, and then when I've actually got my energy levels up, that's when I'll get down to the nitty-gritty and do the task at hand. Alongside the calendar, I also have notifications, so when there is something that needs to be done, I can't forget about it. So if there's something urgent that needs to be done, for example, uploading a video, I have a notification on my phone that will beep at that time, so I remember to share that on Instagram and tell everyone about it, you know? Another thing that's actually really helpful within the whole calendar system is to colour code it. So YouTube tasks I usually put in red, admin tasks are usually in green, soul and fire, like my small shop tasks, are usually in blue. Find yourself a system and colour code and apply that code throughout. Next up, you need to make sure you have a creative workspace that motivates you. So I know how easy it is to sit and work in bed. Trust me, I do enjoy that. I'll do it every so often. However, I used to do that all the time at university, and I found myself getting really distracted. At that time, I didn't have much space to work with, but I definitely encourage you to try and set up a space that is purposely made to work. So, for example, at uni I had a desk. I made sure that was clear and ready to go. I made sure I had my laptop there, any notebooks, and everything that I needed at hand ready to get working. The same applies if you have a living room table. Maybe you use that as your workspace. Just try and create yourself designated zones, and then you know when you step into that zone, it's time to work. You could also work in like a coffee shop or pair up with a fellow self-employed friend, work at their house. And something that is a huge help to me during all this, even on my lazy admin Mondays, is to actually get dressed. Now, this probably sounds simple if you've got an office job. Obviously, you need to get yourself out your pajamas. You can't just roll up to work in those. However, as a self-employed person, there's no one telling me what I need to wear. I can wear what I want. But recently, I've tried and actually succeeded in sticking to actually getting dressed. So even if I'm just changing out of my pajamas into a really comfy loungewear set, I count that as getting dressed. I brush my hair, sort of wash my face, and then I feel like I've got ready for work and I'm more in the headspace to actually do the work. So you're dressed, you're ready, you've got a workspace, you've got a schedule. Now I want to share with you some apps that I find useful in doing all of these things and staying on it. My number one is an app called ClickUp. Now, ClickUp is sort of similar to apps like Trello, I believe. I've never personally used Trello, but I hear a lot of good things about it. So maybe shop around, but I personally use ClickUp. So on there, you can organize basically your entire life. So you can create separate boards, you can view them as lists, as calendars, you can add notes, you can upload documents. Honestly, the possibilities are endless, and I find it really, really affordable too. I think that was the main reason I picked it, to be honest. It was cheap and it did the job. So as a self-employed person, I really love ClickUp, and I've actually also synced that to my Google Calendar. So when I add anything in either or, it sort of cross-reference it and syncs it rather than me having to like copy things over, because the more I can automate things, the better, because it means more time to do the actual important stuff. Another app that I highly recommend, or more so a technique, is the Pomodoro method. I use this sort of on and off, and it's a method of working in a chunk and then taking a little bit of a break throughout the day. So this sort of repeats. Some people do 25-minute chunks of work and then 5 minutes break and just keep repeating. Personally, I like to work in bigger chunks, so I'll set myself like 45 minutes worth of work and take a 10-minute break. And then the app sort of prompts you into doing that. You could do this by hand by setting an alarm. It just means that you can stay on it without burning yourself out. I also highly recommend a physical method of writing things down. I always have my daily planner next to me, I have my notebook, and I have sticky notes. I write on anything that I can find, especially the tasks at hand. I want them in front of me all of the time. It's very easy for my laptop screen to turn off or me to close that screen down on ClickUp, whereas if I always have a piece of paper in front of me, I can't just simply chuck that away. It's there, ready to go. So having something physical is like a third layer of forcing myself to actually get things done rather than procrastinate. So every morning I'll write myself a list in a pad like this, what needs to get done, main priorities, any like life admin things. And the pad like this, there's a little treat on the end, so I usually write myself in a reward, like let's have ice cream for pudding, you know, that's my treat. So definitely recommend writing stuff down. Even though I am very much a digital creature, I still go back to writing it down on a day-to-day basis. Now, we're talking all about getting productive, staying motivated, using your time efficiently, but you also need to make sure that you set yourself boundaries. Now, this is especially hard if you work from home, because it's so easy to just sort of carry on working or take your laptop into the bedroom, work downstairs. Everything is accessible all the time, especially with social media, especially with a job like mine. If I unlock my phone at any point, I can see my emails. I'm very accessible, and that can sometimes work against me. So make sure that you actually give yourself time to breathe. Set yourself some time in the middle of the day to actually have a proper lunch break. Don't sit and work at your desk. Move, even if it's 2 meters across the room, move somewhere else. Have a proper lunch break, whether it's half an hour or an hour. Go for a walk, do something else so you can properly recharge. The same applies for the end of the day. Actually take some time and don't feel guilty about it. In the long run, you're going to work more effectively if you've had time to recharge, especially in a creative job such as graphic design. You need to go and experience things. You need to have some downtime in order to generate ideas and have sort of creativity flourishing. So I make sure I don't answer my emails. I turn on my out of office on the weekends and make sure people know that I'll reply as soon as possible. I limit my social media use when I'm not working, and on weekends I fully take the weekend off, because we all deserve a weekend, no matter what industry you're in. Even if it's not a Saturday, Sunday, take some days off. Even if your weekends are Tuesdays and Fridays, that's absolutely fine. Take some time for you to regroup, because then when you get back to work, you'll be motivated and ready to go. Actually, talking about motivation, that's something I have learned a lot about recently. So I was actually reading a book by Stephen Bartlett, and he does the amazing podcast, The Diary of a CEO. Highly recommend if you want to feel motivated and just you like hearing about other people's way of thinking, way of working, things like that. Amazing. Now, in Stephen's book, he mentioned a lot about motivation isn't something that just appears. It's not you wake up and you feel motivated every day. That's not the case. And it applied right back at school. There was many days when you didn't want to go to school. When you got there, it was actually all right and you actually got quite a lot done. What is always there and you have control over is discipline. So by setting yourself these routines and knowing that personally on a Monday morning you do admin, you do all the boring stuff, it means that I will get it done. You could even reward yourself, like I mentioned with the daily planner. I give myself a treat. Treat yourself like you treat kids. When they do something good, you praise them. They get a reward token. They get a sticker. Do that for yourself. I did this a lot at uni. I mean, my rewards actually involved me eating far too much chocolate, but I mean, I got the work done. So reward yourself, give yourself time to breathe, and don't go too hard on yourself. You will get it done as long as you have that structure, you have that routine, and you're taking care of yourself. Now, I feel like I've rambled along in this video. I always feel like in these talking videos, I just sort of go off on a tangent, but I hope you found this useful. If you did, let me know how you're going to apply these to your work. If you have anything to add to this conversation, again, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear. And yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time for another one. Bye.